All right, hello everyone. Welcome to my kitchen. So today we are going to be doing the great cookie exchange. So I'll do that thing. If you have Gen Con tickets, do me a favor, go do the ticket thing so that we can get credit for y'all being here. I am going to try and pull up the chat so that I can see y'all, because like to hear it. Here we go. Excellent, excellent. I don't know that I need to see myself, but I at least want to see what you guys are saying. So today we're doing the virtual cookie exchange. That's kind of exciting. My name is Chris Whitpan. I am a trained professional chef. I also have done, I'm doing my own production if you can't tell. I also was a professional chef for about 30 years. One of those things you don't ever stop being. So we thought we would host a little virtual exchange because this is something that's kind of missing from doing Gen Con and things like that. You know, we do cookie exchanges, coffee exchanges, all those fun little regional things. So while you don't get to try the madeleines we're going to make today, maybe we can at least share some recipes and things like that. So to that end, let me pull this guy up. If you can, go to the Renegade Games website and we will kind of collate all the recipes that y'all submit today, and we will put them all on that sheet. The recipe for the madeleines is here today, so that should be pretty good. So please go ahead and let us know one of your favorites. Bring us something weird. A lot of people don't think of a madeleine as a cookie, but it really is. The batter and everything is made just like a cookie. So it's a lot of fun to kind of, share something new, something different. So if you have that, I know somebody was working on some air fryer cookies, which I kind of thought was pretty cool, right? So without further ado, let's kind of get into this. So we're going to start my oven today. All right, 375, and I am literally going to do this from complete scratch. Like if you look over here, I have my buckets. I don't have anything pre-prep, pre-portioned, but this one is pretty straightforward. Madeleines are just like these little cakey cookie goodness bites, and they are just delicious. Anybody who makes cookies will tell you you need to have softened butter. Do not get tricked into thinking you can just pull it out and microwave it. That just always causes problems, doesn't it? Just never seems to go right for me. So, can you make them without the Madeline pan? You can, but you're gonna see as we cook these, the Madeline pan, A, they're not that expensive. For a decent set, and B, if you have the good non-stick ones, oh my goodness, they just pop right out. But I suppose you could drop them and you could make them, and they could be like almost like a muffin top. That's how they would behave. But it's great, and there are many times where I will literally just say, you know what, I want some cookies tonight. Boom, let's go, madeleines, done. So it's a good thing to try. Now we want to melt the butter for this. For this guy, it's what, a cup and a half or 3/4 cup. I have to write this down. 5 ounces. There you go. That's the word I'm looking for. Which is about a stick and a half. So I'm gonna get this melted because I don't want this hot. You never want, like, when it says melted butter, you don't ever really want to add it hot because you want the fats and things to kind of cool down and kind of resettle before they go in. So let's just give that a quick little 30-second nuke. All right, but pretty straightforward. Now, this dough, what we're going to do is we are basically going to do through eggs and sugar. We're going to cream them together. Now, I'm going to use my trusty stand mixer, good old Sparky over here. I call him Sparky because I had to replace the power cord. He's like closing in on 30 years old. I got him in the 90s, and it was a gift, kind of, sort of, from one of my old owners. If you get one of these, the rubber-edged paddles, these are great. One of the best things I ever got for my stand mixer, because I never have to scrape down my bowl. All right, so we need 2 large eggs. Just happen to have them. All right, so let's just get these guys right in here. Boop. Little shell went along for the ride. And then we're going to have some pure granulated sugar. Now this is going to be 2 1/3 cups. Level. So in goes 1. Oop. Missed a little piece of shell. See, it happens. I really should crack into a bowl, but you know, I just don't like doing that. All right, so we just got our 2 eggs. We got our 2/3 cup sugar. All right, and we're going to mix that on a good medium-high speed. And what we're looking for is eggs and sugar. When you're creaming them together, they will actually, they'll get bright yellow, then they'll get a nice light yellow. We want them when they're nice, pale, and fluffy. All right, that's going to be a huge key to this recipe. All right, now these little flexible cutting boards are great for adding flour. So while that's whipping, we're going to get our 1 cup of all-purpose flour, and I like King Arthur. If you can't tell, I have like 3 of their flours. That's why I put the label on there. All right, now you can sift. You can sift this. It doesn't hurt. All right. So I'm just going to do this onto this flexible cutting board here, right? Yeah, that was pretty good. There's barely anything left in there. All right, it needs a pinch of salt. Now, if you tuned in the other day for my little cooking show, we kind of talked about kosher salt. So when it comes to baking, if I don't use kosher salt, and in a cookie I wouldn't, I like sea salt. So just a pinch of sea salt. It doesn't need much at all. All right, let me pull this off. And I want to show you all the nice color we have. Let me put up the other camera here. There we go. So you can kind of see this is really a nice pale yellow, okay? Very, very light. When you cream things together, if you cream it with butter especially, it'll get even really, really nice and pale. To this, what we're going to do is we are going to add vanilla bean paste. Now, you want to take your cooking to the next level. This is it when it comes to baking. Now, don't get me wrong, I've got my, I really don't care that much. It's really cheap McCormick vanilla extract, okay? Then I have the good old, bought it in Mexico, real Costa Rican vanilla extract, which is very good. But then I also have vanilla bean paste. All right, now those are made with the hulls just soaked in alcohol after they've been all scraped, so it kind of gets an essence of it. But the paste is literally what's left after the beans are removed. But there's definitely some beans in here, and you can get them from different areas, and a little goes a long way. Now, the flavor of a madeleine This one especially, because I'm not adding any other flavors, this is a key component, so I'm going to use the slightly better bean paste. This is the Madagascar. There's Tahitian, which is kind of really nice and floury. And what we're doing is just putting in a teaspoon. And I'll be honest with you, you can measure it, but a lot of it gets lost in the spoon. So I just do a quick little pour, but do be careful. It comes out fast. So we're going to give this a quick mix. Just to kind of get that incorporated. And once we're done, all right, we're going to turn this down to low. And now you can see why I like this flexible cutting board, because now I can just shoot it straight in. All right, so just kind of drop it in there. Don't go too fast. We're just going to incorporate that. All right, and then this is warm. Again, it's not hot, it's not bubbling. We're just going to slowly add this in. We're really almost doing an emulsification with the eggs that are in there and everything. And if you dump it too fast, it could separate. So we don't want that. So just a nice easy pour. Madeleines are one of my all-time favorite delicious little treats. I absolutely love them. So I'm curious, if you had to pick a favorite cookie, like you went to the Baskin-Robbins cookie place, right? Where there's every flavor you could ever want. What cookie would be your absolute favorite? Let me know in the comments. I'm curious. Because I am watching them. All right. See James. Hello, James. How we doing? The girl's getting a little old. You hear the squeaking. I think she's I don't want to have to lose her. I love my mixer. All right. So you notice I didn't mix it on high speed. I mixed it just until it was fully incorporated, and that was it. All right, now I'm just gonna quickly spatula this off. And this is, as you can tell, this is a very loose batter, which is why I would be cautious if I tried to drop this onto a baking sheet, because it's a very thin batter. Well, can I tell you, after the cooking show, I had to spend a good hour cleaning the kitchen. I was a hot mess. All right. So I'm just kind of going through, but the sides of this guy, super clean, and that's all thanks to that nice little tool. So there we go. I will get ready. So that's kind of it. That's the batter. The simplest you get. Now, this is the Madeline Pan. Now, you might be used to this. This is pretty common. This guy is super non-stick. I used to, well, technically I still work for Sur La Table. I'm one of their chef instructors, but given the current state of affairs, I'm not holding classes now, so hopefully in the near future I'll be cooking again. But this is their Madeline Pan, and I absolutely love it. I like that it's the silver, because the dark ones I think are going to overcook the edge and the sides. So I would be very, very cautious with that. These work great, and I completely love these. And it's not a dig for the store or anything. I literally just bought something off of the website last night, and they're good because they kind of have that perfect blend. I also don't like the mini ones, but that is completely a personal preference. So the other thing is we can talk about flavoring madeleines a little bit. So this is just a plain Jane, you know, vanilla madeleine cookie, which is what I like. Now we're going to do something to them at the end here. We're just going to give them a quick little dip in some chocolate. We'll make a little ganache, and we'll do that. But you can also add flavors. So one of the common flavors might be adding a little bit of almond extract. Would be great in there. That would be a nice little extra addition to be able to kind of get that flavor out and just give it like that little nice nutty quality. The other one is like you could add a little orange in here, put some orange zest. You could add a little honey. You could add a little maple syrup. Like there are many different little flavorings, and it doesn't need much. Maybe a tablespoon of honey would be enough to just kind of give it that little extra complexity and a little extra sweetness, which is always a good thing. All right, now let's move on to, let's get this out. All right, so again, I'm going to keep referencing the cooking show because there are many things we're going to talk about again, but scoops. So I love using scoops because they're one of the greatest shortcuts ever. These are restaurant portion scoops, and they're color coded so you can instantly see what size they are. This happens to be a number 40, which means there's 40 of these in a quart. It's a, you figure there's what, a 64 and then 64 ounces, so it's a little bit more than about an ounce and a half roughly. But this is the perfect size for cookies. Whether I'm scooping chocolate cookie batter, whether I'm scooping, you know, this very loose batter, it's perfect. So this is our Madeline Pan. It's got these nice scallopy edges on it, which is going to get all nice and crispy, which is what makes a Madeleine so delightful. All right, so we are going to just do a quick scoop. But before this, I probably don't need to with this pan, but we'll just give it a quick little shot with some Pam. All right, we're just going to drop. This is almost a full scoop. If you look here, it's just a little bit underfilled because I found that a full scoop is just too much. But this allows me to stay consistent. Fight the urge to get those cookies and roll them in your hands, because I have been accused in my time of my food looking too perfect and it looks like it's processed. So like my mother-in-law, you know, with my canadles, they were like perfectly round. She's like, but she wanted more rustic canadles, I guess. All right, and if she's watching, which she could be. Yeah. All right, so come on, how easy is this scoop, right? Come on. Snickerdoodles, Ani? Yeah, yeah, that's definitely up there. All right. And this is going to give us, so we have 16 on a tray. I know you're used to seeing like a dozen or 24. So it's going to give us about a tray and a half with these guys. But I mean, come on. This is like, we haven't even been at this 20 minutes yet. All right. Oh, I like the snickerdoodle trick there. You can get some store-bought sugar cookie. That works, that works. Sugar cookies aren't too hard, but they can be a little finicky because there's so much butter. So they for sure can be, you know, we'll talk about that in a little bit when we'll talk about the sugar cookies and cutters that I have. All right, now, you don't have to really bang these down. The dough won't really go anywhere for us. It's not going to be that, it's not going to spread that far in the Madeline pans, and it's going to poof up. So we're going to pop these in, 375. Now, my recipe likes 10 to 12 minutes. But I'll also tell you, my oven is pretty good. And it usually comes in at that 10 mark almost perfectly. So we'll set a 10-minute timer. There you go. And then we are going to take some chocolate. All right. Also notice these are in the center rack here. So that way they get nice even heat. This is not a convection oven. That upgrade was way too expensive. The microwave is though. So I have 3 ovens technically. Thanksgiving dinner here is a breeze. All right, so what I have is I have about 4 ounces of, this is bittersweet chocolate. So it's a little dark, and I just kind of broke it up. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna make our little ganache. All right, So, now we're going to melt this chocolate, and we're not going to go too crazy with like our heat. We want to have a nice gentle heat. What you don't want to do is the chocolate and the bain marie, you don't want that to get any water in it. That would be bad. So what we want to do is we want to make sure that the flame is not cranked super high. Like it is. We'll try that one. All right, so we're not going to crank the flame super high because we want a nice gentle kind of simmer on that chocolate. And then what we're going to do is we're going to add our cream to it. Now I'm going to heat the cream a little bit just so that when it goes in, it doesn't shock the milk. All right, now we only need about a little less than half a cup of cream. This is one of those things that I just always keep around, always, because cream is just so useful on a day-to-day basis. You can make quick cream sauces. I've been making chocolate chip mint ice cream lately. All right, I love these measuring cups that you can look right down in and see. What kind of timer is this? I have no idea. I have no idea, Shadow. It was just something I picked up on Amazon. I needed a cool timer for something, so that's what I got. All right, so we're gonna go with about 1/3 a cup. That should be good. And we're just gonna get this warm. All right, that way when it goes in with our chocolate, it's going to be happier. So I'm going to nuke it. Let's just call it 30 seconds or so. All right. Exciting, right? So let's do make a little coffee. So this might take a few minutes, but you know, hey, we got 6 minutes left. So feel free to talk away in the chat. Let me know if you have any questions, you know, anything like that. You know, I see a bunch of you in there, so let me know. I'm just going to do a quick pour over coffee today. So pour over coffee is, you know, it's not usually the thing I go for first thing in the morning because it takes a little too long. But I tend to really enjoy it just because I like the flavors I get. Now this is just the blend that I like, and I ground it really fine. All right, and this is 32 grams. All right, so I have 32 grams of ground coffee here. All right, and then what I like to do is I like to just, once I've ground it, I put it onto a paper towel roll, and I just kind of spread it out and kind of lightly push it. And what that's going to do is, if you've ever made like French press, or you've gotten pour over coffee and you get to the end and there's kind of that black sludge, that's really leftover fine pulverized ground, and it's not what I want to drink, so I try to avoid that. So this, you'll see when we're done, a lot of that stuff stays behind on the paper towel, which is cool. All right, so we have a square filter. Alrighty, and what that's going to do is, this is a paper filter. This is called a Chemex. This is the Bodum version, but there's a true Chemex. But what it's going to do is it's going to slowly pour the coffee over. I like to have a chopstick on hand because it doesn't have an air vent in the side, and this helps with the air being able to escape. So right now I have a kettle of water, and it's coming up to just under a boil. I want it at like about 200. All right, our milk is warm. Our chocolate is melting. It's doing all the lovely things that chocolate should do. We've got 4 minutes left on our cookies. Resist the urge to peek. It's kind of hard to see here through the glass, but we have a nice dome on it. They're puffing up. They're gorgeous. Totally going to love that. And what I have is a quick baking rack. That's going to be ready to go for when we dip them with chocolate. The pans cool down pretty quick, so I can kind of set them around and they'll be able to cool down. And then the madeleines, you're going to see, they just pop out. Oh, it's amazing. It's amazing. Yeah, so this is great because it allows me to brew like a good amount. Now, I will tell you, if you're going to do pour over, you need a scale, because obviously I need to measure my 32 grams. And then the same thing's going to happen when we come to dump in our coffee. So we're going to turn that on, make sure it's on grams, and zero it out, also known as tare, T-A-R-E. All right, our chocolate is melting away. We're sitting at about 170 on our teapot, so we're almost there. Well, let me get rid of that. You don't need to see that anymore. We'll come back to that view in a second. All right. It's like a potion bottle. It's totally like a potion bottle, right? It's pretty cool. I definitely like it because I love the flavors that I get. And it allows me to get a little bit richer on the coffee. I only just like sugar in mine, but it's not necessarily hipster. It's more just me exploring things and just trying to find what you like, right? Like, some people like French press. Let them like French press. That's totally cool. I travel with a French press because I can take the French press. I pre-portion our little Ziploc bags for games. I pre-portion that with coffee grounds, and I pop them in there, and then I close it, and it's like this perfect little travel guy. I mean, so you can get like good coffee wherever, especially if you're going to like one of those cheaper places, that doesn't have a nice machine in your room. Yeah, you'll be happy. Just run the water through there and then make your own. Way better, way better. Like some tea. Tea's good. I played around with some teas. I did some loose leaves for a while, but it just didn't click for me. It wasn't I don't know if it wasn't enough caffeine, and I went with the dark ones. But it just, I don't know. I like a chai, definitely. Like I'll do that if I want something with milk in it. But things like that. All right, so here we are. We're at 200 degrees. So a pour over kettle has this long spout, and that allows us to kind of get a little more control right at the end. You could pour it out from a like an electric kettle or something. And what I'm going to do, the first thing is I'm just going to kind of put a little water through the paper, and that's going to kind of help kind of get any of those paper things off and just heat up the bowl a little bit. And then we're going to pour that out. All right. Now we come back. All right. And then I pick up my little kitchen towel, kind of like I did with the flour. All right. And then look at everything that's left on that towel. That is all going to be that sludge in the bottom of your cup. So, yeah, there's that. All right. So now we're going to do what's called the bloom. So I can do this two-handed. Yeah, let's do this. I'll do this. I'll bring up the little camera just so you can see. There you go. All right. We're just going to pour in a little bit. We're going to make a little well in the center of our grounds. And we're just going to pour this right in the center. And then just start making little circles, circles, circle. I'm going to put about that much in. Just cover the grounds, and we're going to let it set for about 30 seconds. All right. Doo-doo-doo. Yeah, that really helps with the French press too, because those particulates that you're kind of saving yourself from are the ones that are so fine that they get through the mesh. So it's not my trick, but it's definitely one I picked up and I love. All right, so it's been a few seconds. So now we're going to do our first pour, and I'm just going to go in here. All right, and we're just going to go slowly. Da-da-da-da. We're going to go up to about 250. All right, and we have a little ding. So 250 grams total in there. Oh my goodness. That is a perfect Madeline. Perfect. You need some smell-o-vision, maybe even a little over, almost. So what we can do to kind of stop the cooking process is we're going to pop these out. And when I say pop, I mean literally pop. Just push them. Boop. Oh, looks so good. Ah, right away. All right. And what that'll do is that'll just stop the cooking process because we're taking them off the heat. Right, but look at that. Oh, I love the color, because all those edges that you see there are going to be like nice and super crispy. Oh, so good, so good. All right, just leave that picture right there in frame. How delicious. All right, back to the pour over. We're going to finish up. We're going to go up to 400 grams total, and we're just kind of going here. Doop. All right, we're going to give this a quick little shaky shake. We can get rid of the scale. We're done with that guy. And then we're just going to let this kind of come down. Now you can take the chopstick and just give it a quick, I won't say stir, but I like to just kind of make sure it's not sticking to the outside. Dripping away. All right. So that'll be ready to drink in a minute. And we got our coffee cup ready to go. We got our cream. Looks like our chocolate's ready. All right. So our chocolate is, notice that the shape here is, it looks exactly like it went in. Okay. That's a little deceptive, because it is completely melted. All right, chocolate, especially if you're using chips or anything like that, will hold its shape. So avoid the urge to go in there and play with it. All right, don't do that. All right, then what we're going to do is we're just going to pour our cream in. We're going to pour about half in. And we're just going to start giving this a nice gentle mix. All right. But when you melt chocolate, just let it ride. And you know what? If you want to melt it in the microwave, that's completely fine too. I'm just used to doing it in a double boiler, so I'm completely fine with that. All right. We're going to put in a little bit more, not too much more. Because I'm scaling this recipe back a little bit, because I don't need as much chocolate as the main recipe called for. 3/4 of a cup. It's a little harder to divide in half. They don't make 1/8 cups and 1/6 cups. All right, so that's it. That is what we call ganache. Whenever you mix the chocolate and cream, you get a nice ganache, and then now it's going to be a little softer, a little easier. It's going to flow a little better. Anybody who's just melted chocolate and dipped strawberries in it will know that that kind of works, but it can also, firm up and get really hard. I'm going to put this in a taller container because while I like this bowl, because we're using a smaller amount, if you put it in a taller container, it'll be easier to dip these madeleines in here. All right, how are we doing on time? Look at that, 40 minutes. And that's with me blathering half the time. And I'm about ready to eat some madeleines, drink some coffee, and then chat with you all. All right. So good. Yeah, I think I'm going to be spending about another hour cleaning again today. Right. So the chopsticks are also here for another purpose. They are, if my madeleine falls in, I got chopsticks to get it out. So they kind of have a dual purpose for me. We are going to get this is our tray so that the chocolate will fall and catch on the tray. And we will put a piece of parchment underneath just so any chocolate that drips off can recapture or makes cleanup a lot easier. All right, so let's give you guys a good picture here. So there is our cup. All right, so now I don't care. You could dip just the backside, but the backside is one of the things I love about the madeleine is that the edges are crispy and the inside's soft. So if I just dip that side in the chocolate, I lose part of what I love. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to dip half, and I'm going to make my life easy, and I'm going to dip kind of on this angle here. All right, so we're going to go in and we're just going to go doink. We're going to come out just like that. Maybe we'll go a little deeper. All right, just so that it covers half of the cookie. And then we'll just do that. All right, and then go doink, roll it a little. Boom. All right. Yeah, Desiree, I think you need to go bake some cookies, I think it's a good thing. And I tell you, when we have all the mixers and everything that we have nowadays, it's really, it's so easy to just kind of whip something up. Ooh, you have one of the Z pans? You're the person who likes that edge, aren't you? What do you think of that? Is that like, they're expensive, right? They're like $30. I say that as a guy who just spent, probably $20 buying Madeline pans, mind you, but still, that's kind of expensive for A pan, is it worth it? Is it good? Because I like the edge. Oh, see, now you're going to make me do something. What, you mean this? This? Cookie crisp? Huh? That maybe? Huh? Sitting in the pantry? Didn't see that coming. All right, so let's see. By the way, it's not as good as you remember. All right. So we are dipping away. Now you can see kind of why I went with the deeper container, because as we start using up the chocolate, it's starting to get shallow. All right. You may make me go buy one, so we will have to we may have to check that out. All right, guys, these look, oh, they're so good. Oh no, heating element went out in your oven. Oh, so we had a really weird electrical thing happen in our house years ago. Somebody hit a telephone pole and it caused what was called a phased surge. Even with a whole house surge protector on and everything, it still managed to take out a lot of things, and it took out our microwave. Though, you know, it was the original one that came with the house. It was nothing special, you know, just it was stainless steel. And I'm like, they gave us $1,000 for it. And I'm like, are you sure this is the model number? They're like, yep. I'm like, okay. So for $400, I replaced it with this oven. And this oven it's a microwave, but it's also a full convection oven. So it's really handy. And it worked really well. I was kind of amazed at it. And now it's really handy. Not gonna lie to you, I don't use it a ton as an oven because, you know, I have these two guys and they work great. But it's handy. Like if I want to do a souffle, that really benefits from a convection oven. So, all right. Closing in on the end. Wow, these look so good. All right, and essentially that's kind of what an air fryer is, right? It's just a convection oven. All right, now the nice thing too about this chocolate is it's not going to, by making it into a ganache, it's not going to get like hard. All right. It's going to stay a little soft. It's kind of like a good enrobing chocolate. Now, the more cream I use, the more pourable it's going to get. So that kind of makes a big difference in the result that you get. And we used to enrobe cakes with it, where we would just literally pour it over a cake on a rack, scrape it off, pour it again, and do that in the restaurants. But it's also nice because it doesn't, like if I were just to melt chocolate and just dip these, it would put such a thick coat of chocolate on there that it probably would be, it'd be too much. Let's be honest. All right. Ooh, nice, fresh. There's something about doing the pour over. It kind of takes a little of the harshness out of the coffee, which I really like. All right, so that's our madeleines. Pretty basic, nothing too crazy here, but it's something you can pull together. All right, you can just kind of get it up and running pretty quickly, kind of in that brownie range, right? About how hard it was. Now it does help to have the tool, I'm not gonna lie, but if you bake a lot of cookies, get that number 40 scoop. Just go look on Amazon and get a number 40 scoop. They are wonderful. A 20 is perfect. A 20 is like perfect size for meatballs. I love that. I mean, I made the meatballs with the small one yesterday for speed, but that's like a great size if you just want to have like, you know, good meatball in your food and stuff like that. But the number 40 is perfect for this. So I highly recommend it. Makes your life so much easier. Great cookie sizes. The Madeline pans, like I said, I got these at work. These are the sur la table, and they may have come as a 2-pack, and they were around 20 or so bucks, so I'm not really sure. I would just argue make sure you get something that is coated, and I prefer the ones that aren't dark. I mean, you saw in my oven, like those were almost overdone at, you know, 10 minutes. Like I probably could have gone 9 and been completely happy with it. So bear that in mind as you pick up things. And of course, baking sheets, right? Like I have plenty. There's a whole stack up here next to Totoro that's like, I have 6 like half pan baking sheets. I have, let's see, I probably have like 3 or 4 of these, you know, the good silicone mats. These are great for cooking. They see a lot of use and make cleanup a breeze. So highly recommend those as well. And you cannot go wrong with parchment paper. Parchment paper. I keep a nice big stack in here. You know, I get mine from restaurants because, you know, they always have a ton of it. But it's one of the single best things. Like if I'm baking a tray of brownies, I put a piece of parchment underneath it and I'm going to lift the whole thing right down. So really, really good. The silicone mats, yeah, you know, so here's the trick with the silicone mats. They can also be insulating, okay? So they can kind of provide this like 1/16 of an inch of insulation, and they can cause the bottom of the cookie to cook out of sync with the outside of the cookie. So if you're having trouble with them, drop the temp like 25 degrees and extend your time 5–10%. And that will kind of help because you're trying to get that temperature to kind of marry up if you're having trouble with them. They can be a little tricky. So recommend them, but again, you know, find what works for you. If you can get the parchment paper in sheets, I really love that a lot better than I like the rolls, if it's possible, because you can put a little batter on touch it on the 4 corners, and then put the parchment down. You can spray your tray with water and put parchment down, but I hate the curling. It's definitely that. Yeah, parchment paper got me my chef teaching job, be honest with you. Because one of the things I use parchment for is I do what's called fish en papillote, which means fish in a bag, in which case you basically take fish, you put it, and you wrap it in parchment paper, and it kind of creates this nice little steam bath oven thing. So when I had to do my demo, that's what I did. So I am a super fan. And I will say this right up front, parchment paper is not wax paper. They are 2 completely different things. And I prefer the white over the unbleached. I've just had more success with temperature and things like that. And there's a little bit of silicone on there, which helps things. So yeah, the in a bag with aluminum foil works too. The parchment's nice because it doesn't stick, right? But then you have to have that nice little fold around the edge. So here we are. We're closing in on the end of me chatting. So can you recycle parchment? I guess if it was like, for instance, you can use it for cookie after cookie after cookie. That would be fine. I would avoid using, you know, cross-contamination things, and don't necessarily use up the stickiness, but it can burn, and then it's going to, eventually it will break down and dry out. And then now you run the risk of getting paper in your food. So there you go. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Wax paper does not last very long. It's good for wax paper is good for storage, right? When you need kind of that foldable thing, and it was really before parchment paper, but like if you need to wrap a pound cake or something with it, it's really good on that front. Cool. So, all right. So I'm just going to kind of, you guys have any questions? Feel free to ask away. The next one I'm going to answer is, how do these taste? Phenomenal. I haven't done the chocolate before. I like that. What you can do, is you can put some the mini chocolate chips are perfect in these. And it's something very unexpected because people don't usually do that, but it works. It's kind of like a chocolate chip pound cakey thing. Didn't need my emergency chopsticks. So, all right. So if you're here, make sure, part of this is yes, I wanted to show you my favorite cookie, but I want you to share yours with us. So you have that thing that you make, that you take, that people ask you for. Mine's not a cookie, by the way. It's mango coleslaw. More on that later. But you have that thing that you make that people love, and it's unique to you. For my grandmother, it was these lacy cookies that were just absolutely just butter and a little bit of flour and sugar, and that's it. It's just, they just melted in your mouth. And my niece was able to make them, and it's so good. And it's just one of those things. So I'm sure you have recipes out there, and you have all crazy kind of, ideas and fun things going around. So please share those. I want to put them up on the site. I'm going to take them tomorrow off. And then probably later in the week, I'll collate all those recipes. So you got a day or two to get everything in. Just fill out that quick form. If you want to send me an email, conventions@renegade.com, you can just send me the recipe and I'll put it up that way too. So either one of those are good. And what we'll do is we will totally go through them and have some fun. I do want to cover sugar cookies because I had some fun, and maybe you guys and ladies and gals and whoever were not here on Friday for my cooking show. So we talked about gaming snacks, and one of the things we talked about was doing sugar cookies and then kind of decorating them, right? So with the advent of 3D printing, I had a little fun. Went and I created a Renegade cookie cutter. All right, because I'm a company guy. I love Renegade. I get complaining. And then we made some cookies. So you can just do the basic. Oh, let's have a sugar cookie. Oh, that's kind of cool. Just use some blue sugar paint with a little bit of water. There you go. Zombie. So I did it was on the Gen Con main stage. So we have to get that video off and then we'll put it back up. We cooked about 6 different things that day. Whew, I cooked 6 things in an hour. We were flying around this kitchen. It was great. We did Greek meatballs. We talked about these. We did Rice Krispie treats, which are all gone. We did capres. It was just fun. So keep an eye on the Renegade YouTube channel because I'm sure we'll post it again in due course. But continuing on, you can also make a quick royal icing, which is really just like egg whites and sugar and a little bit of acid. That's it. It's a very simple icing, but it makes a very pourable icing that you can decorate with. So again, using that parchment paper I love so much, you can make little individual pastry bags. So you can just do that, and it worked great. So you can also combine the two. And I poured the center and had sugar on the outside. What kind of plastic is food safe? So I don't know that I have a good answer. I used ABS. No, I didn't. I used PLA. PLA is biodegradable. It's made from sugarcane. It's not, I'm not saying it's food safe by any means, but what I did was I also put this in the dishwasher for about 3 different cycles just to make sure it was completely clean. And then I also sprayed it with some Pan just to make sure it was good. All right, and then also I got some cookie cutters from this awesome store on Etsy. She is called Mad Designs 3D, and she makes cookie cutters that are D&D inspired, and she has stamps that go with them. So you cut the cookie and then you stamp them, and you also have like a D20. She's got beholders. The beholders are pretty cool. They're funny. I also really love, let's see, we got the tentacle. The tentacle's kind of awesome. And of course, I mean, come on, it wouldn't be if we didn't have a dragon. So these are awesome. So check out, if you want these. These are great cookie cutters. We use them to cut those shapes in Rice Krispie treats as well. So that's another option for you to have some fun. And they came out pretty good. So like I made a friendly beholder. You know, I kind of thought he was fun and goofy, and I just color coded a bunch. So all right, let's see. Then we also got the tentacles. The tentacles were a little fun to kind of paint. Kind of made those. And this is just a sugar cookie dough that's made for rolling. Okay, I haven't had good success with the bought sugar cookies to do these, so that's why I'm like, made my own dough. I chilled it, rolled it, cut it, chilled it again, and then baked it. Okay, you need to do a lot of chilling with it. Yeah, the D&D cutters are, yeah, let me put up the site again. These are awesome. They're just on Etsy, and she was super awesome to work with. She sent them like within a week just so we could have them for the show, so you guys could see them. And I'll put the link up on the on our website as well. And then the D20. Now, granted, my numbers were not perfect here. I was kind of in a rush, but you know, hey, it's just fun. And you know what? If you don't want to paint or anything, like the dragon came out pretty cool. I even love the fact that the flame, I mean, I doubt this was intentional, but the flame's a little thinner, so it got a little darker. So there you go. Oh yeah, give us a good cookie butter. You have your mom's best butter cookie recipe for cookie cutters. I probably would have loved that earlier this week when I made these, because there was some cursing going on in my kitchen because I was struggling. The struggle bus was here and it was backed up, and I was not a happy camper. So that's, if you have a good recipe for it, I will gladly take it. So that's cool. That's awesome. That's fun. I mean, just some ways to get some snacks into your routine. Cookies are great, munchies, because you know they're not usually too messy. You can make them a little smaller. Again, the Madeline, so much fun. Just so fancy, right? But do you guys have any other questions? Because we're gonna kind of wrap it up here. Kind of get ready to call it an afternoon. This was fun. I'm so glad you all showed up, and this is really enjoyable to kind of, I don't know, this is, we could all talk about RPGs and we can talk about all that stuff, but I like this. Plastic metal cutters. Oh, I like metal better, 100%. But, you know, I can't make this with metal, right? Like I have to, like I was able to make this. It's going to be a millimeter, like a little less than a millimeter thick, right? But it works and it's great. And it might need a little help, but I made this. Like I literally had the files in my basement and made this. So there's something to be said for, you know, either making your own or downloading them and printing them off yourself, which is kind of awesome. Like that you can do that anytime you want. That's kind of what a 3D printer is like all about, right? Like being able to kind of get something from your brain out and down. But in that same pack, probably, oh my goodness, I can't tell you. I bought this set of round cutters, these Tentacles circle cutters. I went to chef school, so probably like 91, and they're still with me to this day. Like these are, and I've thought about getting another set, maybe getting a set of the bigger ones, but you know, you can use this ravioli, we can use it for this. I use them for molds, like I'll pack rice in there, pull it off, and I got a nice little cylinder. So you can have a lot of fun. And if I ever need, like, you know, before I had a printer, like, you know, I needed leaves for a project I did for some cupcakes I baked for somebody. So, you know, I bought a set of metal cutters. Like, that's completely fine. But the nice thing, too, about 3D is, you know what, if I never use that cutter again, I don't feel super guilty about buying something and then it just, like, I don't know that I'll ever throw these away. There might be that one day I will need a maple leaf cutter in the near future and I have it, right? Whereas 3D, I could give it away, throw it away, and then melt it down. You can use them again even. There's methods to do that. But then at a later time, I need to use it again, I can print another one, or I can change it, or I can tweak it. So, all right. Oh, yeah, trust me, we can go around this kitchen and we can see all of the cook tools, 100%. I have a bunch. Because, you know, I'm a chef, I like tools, but, you know, I kind of subscribe to the Alton Brown theory of, you know, trying not to buy like single unit taskers and things like that. Oh, been one of the events you've been looking forward to? That's awesome. I'm glad you liked it. I didn't know, like when we submitted it, we're like, you know, let's do something fun and different. And I love cooking and sharing it. So I love doing this. It's, I'm not gonna lie, it's a lot of work setting up in the kitchen. And I have a big kitchen, but it's been a bit of a studio for the whole weekend. My wife is abandoned the house. She's like, I'm going to my mother's so I could be out of your way. And I'm like, you're going to your mother's so you don't have to help me with dishes. I understand. And that's valid. So I'm really glad you guys enjoyed it. So thanks a lot for coming. We're going to, you know, unless you guys have another question or two. Oh, the cookie book. I actually got a cookie book one year for Mrs. Fields, and it had a lot of good cookies in it. They're just like, oh my goodness, there are just so many good cookies out in the world, right? Like there just are. One of my favorites is actually, I think it's on the back of Ocean Spray Craisins. It's like a white chocolate craisin cookie. It's good. It's great. Who thinks? But all right, so what do we have coming up? We got a live play coming up this afternoon. I think we're doing Athenaeum, which is going to be awesome. We're going to have some fun. This has been me. Do I have anything else to show you? Do I? Let's see. We got the cookies. That's been awesome. That's me. I'm looking at my lower third so I can put them down below. So, you know, join our Discord. If you guys haven't, go check out our Discord. We have a channel dedicated to the cookie exchange in there. So feel free to hop in there. If you want to ask me any questions about anything specific, feel free. Hop in, ask away. I'm happy to put my chef hat on and answer those for you. And then, of course, make sure you get your cookie recipes in. Either email them to me directly, conventions@renegadegames.com, or go to the website and hit the cookies there. Both those links are also in the Discord. I tried to make sure they're everywhere. So your Madeline just came out of the oven? All right. Are they good? Did you get them? Are they perfect? I'm sure they are, right? They have to be. They have to be awesome. I burnt madeleines. The first time I made this recipe, and this is me not learning, right? The first time I made the recipe, I shot right in the middle of the 10 to 12 minutes, and I came in at 11, and I pulled them out 1 minute, too dark. It was literally, these guys turn on a dime. So, you know, I now shoot a little under. Too hot. You know, also, when they come right out of the oven, that crispy hasn't set in yet. They need to cool down a little bit, and you get that crispy with that soft center. Oh, I love the texture difference there. So, very, very good. So, all right, gang, I am going to kind of call it here. I'm gonna put up the thank you screen, and I'm going to sincerely thank you all for being here. If this is something you liked, I'm super happy that you enjoyed it. It's great. Let's continue the conversation, and let's have some fun. And we talked about Renegade Con coming in September, and so if you're on the server, you'll get notified too. But I'm probably going to have to do another cooking show. I think that's going to have to happen. This was just too much fun. So I think we will have to do that. So, all right, everybody, enjoy your day. Have some fun. I need to turn on the mouse because, you know, I buy cheap stuff apparently. And we're going to get out of here. So enjoy the rest of your day. Have a good one.